Welcome to Malpractice Podcast.
Are you ready to get started?
Dish me in your face, let me know that you need me. There's
Honestly,
a truth in your eyes, saying you never leave.
We cannot afford to sing more than 5 seconds of that song.
1,000%.
Are you ready to get started?
Yes, I'm ready to get started.
Yeah.
Boop, boop, boop-a-doo. Yeah.
So Jess got double married this weekend.
Double married. Locked it in again. Locked her in again. Locked her in again. She's stuck.
Also, sometimes when we sing to each other on Zoom especially, we sing in that voice.
Dish me. Yeah, that's my favorite voice.
It's not
honestly.
uncommon.
Give me another song. I'll sing it in that voice too.
Baby got back.
I don't know those words, to be honest. All I know are those words that you just said.
Well,
Baby get back.
I literally know every word to that
Go.
song.
Do it.
No, I can't. We can't afford to.
Afford. What does it mean to afford to do anything anymore?
Just, don't want to get sued.
Well, they can sue me.
A suit.
Shoot.
They can and they
They're
will.
gonna shoot you.
I don't think we can afford a lawsuit with Sir Mix-a-Lot. I don't know how much money he has, but I assume it's more than me.
I mean, we would just take whatever it is down. We're not trying to fight. We give up.
That's correct. We give up. We fucked up.
No,
It's our
sorry.
bad. We know. We're fine. Just tell us what the rules are and we'll stop.
Yeah. I'm so tired.
Yeah, I know. Same.
I know you're tired.
Yes, we worked really hard to put Jess and Michelle's wedding together, double wedding, second wedding, together this weekend, and we are tired.
Sweepy. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we also, I have never felt more appreciated by an audience than the people at this wedding because they were so excited.
Yeah.
We got to give one special shout out to Shelby,
She's our queen.
our
Yeah.
literal number
Oh my
one
god,
fan.
you know what?
Fan.
She's a fan.
I said fan.
Super fan. I know she's listening right now because she's our first listen every day because that's our bitch.
Every week, as soon as we post our episodes, Shelby is in our DMs like, love this one. It's fantastic. And I'm like, how did you already listen to this? Shelby's out there
And
getting
love
pre-tapes
you.
from someone. Bootleg pre-tapes.
I love Shelby.
Yeah, we love you, Shelby. We stan. She literally came up to me at the first time we saw each other. She was like, I love the podcast so much. A of all, you need to know that I'm a week behind. And I was like, Shelby.
You said my own husband is a month behind.
My own husband is 4 weeks behind. Weeks with an H.
Don't get
4
mad.
Weeks.
Don't
You're
get mad at him.
Be mad with me. That's your new challenge. Also, he said,
Okay.
y'all, Jess and I are getting a tattoo.
Yay!
And I was like, hey, I want to get a tattoo right here on my arm. And he said, on your arm? And I said, And he was like, well, you know how I feel. And I was like, you don't get to control my body. And he was like,
You said, this is where the patriarchy ends, motherfucker. This is where it ends.
this is a matriarchal home.
And the matriarchal body, and I'm going to put ink on it.
I have Frida Kahlo on my shirt right now, and she would not let a man tell her where to put a tattoo. Never. She would never.
Look who I have.
Oh. We got a powerful lady vibe.
Ooh, little,
Jess has on a Kamala Harris
little
shirt.
Madam VP.
What's up, girl?
I think what they should do from now on is say, instead of Madam Vice President, they should just say Vice President, and then they should say Mr. Vice President.
We've had this conversation before where you only want gender removed if it's males or if it's male specific. Yes.
I want all the tables to turn.
Flip them, swap them,
I want to
rearrange them,
catch them on the flippity flip.
put them down, flip them, and then reverse.
That's what I want. Boom. That's the one.
Exactly.
No, but the wedding was fun.
The wedding was super fun. Everybody had a fantastic time. Everybody got home safely. Everyone loved it. I gave a speech and everyone cried. Not a dry eye in the house.
Not mine. My eyes were drowning.
My eyes haven't been dry all day. Jessica sat on the steps of the place they were getting married in, and I said, I started crying.
I know.
Immediately.
I was like, are we all right?
I was like, it's gonna get rough. And also, Megan came up to me at the wedding and was like, I have started now singing negative things because every time y'all are mad about something on the show, you sing it. And she's like, when you want to complain about something, it takes the sting out of it. If you sing it like this.
No, yeah, that's 1,000% true.
She was like, I'll be mad at my girlfriend. I'll like start saying something, but then I'll sing it like this and it's not as bad.
I have tried that like
I was like,
one
I
time
agree.
with Michelle, and she was like, what the fuck? I'm
Not
mad.
having it.
I am even more mad now.
Michelle was like, I'm sorry. Stop singing. I'm mad at you.
Right. And I was like, what? What do you mean?
Did not care.
Which is my favorite thing to sing. What
It
do you
usually
mean?
works. It was a great wedding. The bartenders were great. The DJ was fantastic. The food was really
Dude,
good.
all my vendors were really fun.
Vendors on
Boop,
point.
boop-a-doop.
Literally, the bartender at one point, I walked up to get another round of shots because I was just passing them out at this point, like a shot
you
girl
know
at the bar.
Correct. You know the NOLA, when you go to NOLA, everyone knows. And they have these girls that are with like the needle shots and it's like Jello. I've never had one because I'm boring. But they like shoot them into people's mouths.
Cause she's no fun.
That was Sydney.
Yeah, it's like a syringe shot and they shoot it into your mouth.
That's the word.
Yeah, that was me.
When I said needles, what the fuck?
I literally was
Needle shot?
like a hypodermic
What
needle.
the fuck, Jessica?
It takes 20
Just,
minutes
like,
to give you the shot.
I don't know. I wouldn't know. Never heard of her.
Never
That
heard
was
of
Sydney,
her.
though.
That was me. That was
No,
me.
I'm so not fun. Have we ever talked about how I shooed that man off the stage at your bachelorette party?
We've never talked about that on this podcast. We have talked about it many times in life.
No, yeah. So we were at Sydney's bachelorette party, which was in New Orleans, and she told me, she like took her little hand to my face and was like, I do not want strippers. And I was like, you are talking to the right bitch. We not having fun.
I am no fun.
I was like, got it. And she was like, I don't want anyone dancing on me. I don't want anyone touching me. I was like, perfect.
I don't like when
I
strangers
love that.
touch me.
Don't talk to me even, actually.
Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Don't touch me.
Don't.
I can only control one of those things.
So I was like on patrol. I was controlling everything. And Sydney's mom and her aunt were there because they're a good time. And they
Blast.
wanted Sydney to be
danced on.
experiencing, right? What a bachelorette life is like. And I was like, nope. And so Sydney's like on stage because she has a veil on. Big mistake.
Huge.
She was like on stage, uncomf on stage.
Uncomf.
She was drunk and she was looking at me and she was like, I don't want this. I was like, on it. Puts on my cape. And I was like, you. This man had like taken off his shirt. And what did I say to him? I picked it up off the floor and I was like,
your services are not required here.
your services, that's what I said. Your services are not required. And he left. But he had leapt from the balcony, remember? Like a
Spider-Man.
freaking spider monkey.
He was sitting on top of the balcony and he jumped down from a second-story balcony. And afterward, he came up to me and he was like, I'm sorry, I'm in the military. And I was like, well, that makes a ton of sense. You Spider-Man down? Are you special fucking ops? Did they pay you for that?
He did. I remember being like, what the fuck? And of course, I'm sober. And everyone was
Jessica
not.
was
And so I'm
the
like,
mom.
hey, you need to get out of here. Everybody go home. We're all closing this bar. This bar's closed.
Jessica's like, everyone put a sweater on.
I'm like, where are your clothes? I'm calling your mom. I was like, I'm going to tell. I don't know who I need to tell.
I'm
Nope.
tattling on you.
I was not having a good time when people were stepping over boundaries. I had a great time at your bachelorette party, but
Yes.
I was like, Sydney said not to touch her, so Sydney's not to be touched. That's the
Correct.
situation.
Love that. I also
Yeah.
told the person on stage who was like the talent manager, like, don't let
Well-
anyone touch me. And she was like, ee-hee-hee-hee. And I was like, oh, that's not how consent works, but okay.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, just moment of
so-
silence for the consent in the world because we know that shit never fucking happens.
R.I.P.
I was really giving a moment silence. I was like, you better
Same,
hold
so
the
was I.
silence. You better hold it.
And then when we got back to the Airbnb that night, I was trashed on my bachelorette party. Go figure. And Jess had to reach her hands into my eyeballs and
Just
take my contacts
fingertips.
out.
Not my whole hand, guys. And I'll do it again. Bop, bop, bop.
Bop, bop, bop. I have never in my life appreciated a friendship more. And that's saying a lot. She touched my eyeballs, you guys.
Yeah.
Have you ever had someone that wasn't you, that you weren't paying for a service, touch your eyeballs?
I don't even want to pay
have.
someone to touch my eyeballs. Like, that feels like, nah, I'm good.
I have, and it was Jess. She touched my eyeballs. And you did a great job, honestly.
I was very gentle.
And you took my eyelashes off, my fake eyelashes. You stripped them off.
Sydney likes to, whenever she has like really beautiful makeup, which respect, right? She doesn't want to ruin it. So she's a vampire sleeper and she'll literally cross her arms and
A
sleep
snooze.
like a goddamn vampire.
Like a vampire.
And I'm like the person who's like, oh, like when I did my trial makeup for my wedding, I like go pay them $150 to do the trial makeup and hair. And then I'm like, okay, I like this, I like this. Promptly remove it all so Michelle won't see. Literally 5 minutes after, I'm like, I gotta
That's
go.
hilarious.
So I'm like, I need a blank canvas. I need you. Your skin is gonna thank me. It needs to breathe. Sydney's like, I paid for this. It needs to stay.
I'm making it last.
I'm not.
Jessica will be, first of all, blackout drunk, throw up, do whatever she needs to do, boot, rally, and then we'll come in, take her contacts out, brush her teeth, wash her face. And I'm like, I've been asleep in the corner for 20 minutes.
Put in my retainer.
Up against the wall.
Yeah.
Like, not giving a fuck. I'm like, I'm not taking care of myself. I'm way past that point. And Jessica's like, I would never.
Nah, because
Not.
I know what. I just need my skin, girl. My skin.
My skin is very low maintenance.
Yeah, you have great skin.
Oh, thank you.
If my skin gets mad, boop.
Bye.
Don't look at me for
Out.
a week.
I'm out. That's what your skin says. Bye-bye. I don't
Have
belong
you
to
ever
you.
fallen asleep like in your bed? I already know the answer to this. And you have your like contacts in and like you haven't taken off your makeup and you don't want to get up, so you're like, nah, fuck it.
Yes.
I will wake up in a state of fucking panic. And I'll be like, I gotta take my makeup off. And Michelle will be like, whoa.
Take it 5 notches down, Kimosabi.
And I won't just take it off. I will take it off, do my whole
Sure.
routine, serums, lotions. I'm doing
At like
everything.
4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm asked.
Everyone else is like, are you okay?
I'm like, I forgot. I'll wake up at 5 a.m. if I accidentally fall asleep. And I will take my makeup off and go back to sleep till 6:30.
She's a psychopath, I think. Like you can just like snap awake out of a dead sleep and be like, I didn't do my routine.
Yeah.
Done.
That's me.
And then it's done. You go to the bathroom and you do all the steps.
Mm-hmm. I'll put in a whitening strip.
You're vibing with yourself. You care about yourself.
I just like, I think it's because I had a face. How do I explain? You know, like popcorn ceilings?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the fuck my face is
No,
like.
it did not. It never looked like that, you psycho.
No, my face has been, you know how you can remove the popcorn and you can like apply treatment?
Mm-hmm.
I have
Resurfaced.
transformed, but I used to use like Proactive on my face and stuff, and it like really hurt my skin.
Yeah. It fucked on you.
Now I love myself.
Yeah, you're beautiful. I love you. And you look so pretty at your wedding.
Woo!
Woo!
Thanks.
Look at our
I
Instagram.
literally was like, "Who's that bitch?" That's me.
I was like, this is my favorite I've ever seen your makeup look. It looked so good.
and my hair.
Boom. Bam. It was here.
My
serving
hair.
looks all night.
And
All
my boobs,
night long.
let's be real.
And your boobies. They look like chicken cutlets. Boom.
I don't know. I don't even know what a chicken cutlet looks like anymore.
It looks like a boob.
Like a boob.
Also, there's one more thing that we wanted to talk about, and I know that we've been recording for almost 20 minutes, but we want to talk about
Who's counting?
who's counting, not me.
We are. We're literally
On the
counting.
clock. We went to Target, and what the fuck is up with like prairie chic?
Oh, yeah.
What are the youths doing these days? Why the fuck are you dressing like you're on Little House on the Prairie? You Laura Ingalls ass bitch. Prairie chic, and I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit at all.
No, I don't understand this. With the ruffle and the all the way up here and the big sleeves and the long. Like, what is that? Who is that for? Who is it for?
I don't have the body for prairie chic. This booty did not exist in the 1800s. It wasn't there. Did not exist. You know?
Listen.
This isn't some 1800s ass. Like, I gotta have modern fabrics and modern prints.
Well, and like the structure of the garment needs to have structure, because these paper bags,
this is a 2021
that
booty
they're trying to pawn off are not cutting it.
Don't waste your 20s, like your hottest years of your life, looking like Laura Ingalls. It ain't right. Shit ain't right.
I just don't I think they do this right every like 10 years. They're like, listen, we still have a backlog of prairie dresses. Start throwing those bitches out. We gotta get rid of them. I dead ass think they do, because it's horrible. I don't like it.
You're right. It's cyclical. And are you trying to settle the new world? What is the vibe? Make it make sense.
Get out of here with your Handmaid's Tale bullshit.
Did you come here in a covered wagon?
And if you have a bonnet on,
I'm like, if you don't have
I'm
a bonnet on
concerned.
with that outfit, you don't get to wear it.
I don't like it.
You do not get to
I
wear
don't like
fucking Doc Martens with a prairie dress and call it an outfit. I mean, do it, like, go off, girl, go off, but, like...
I'm gonna say don't
Don't.
go off, girl.
I hate it.
I hate it, yeah. Hate the twirl.
Also, they're trying to bring back low-rise jeans, and I will
I
kill
saw
myself. If I
This is
see
not the
another
low-rise jeans body
whale tail...
anymore.
If I see a whale tail, which is, for our listeners who don't know, when a thong comes up out of a pair of low-rise jeans and you can see it in the back, like when a girl sat down in class back in the early 2000s, right? And you could see her whale tail. It was like a whole ass thing. If I see that again, I'm out. I don't belong in this world
Where are you going?
I don't belong in the world of low-rise jeans. I don't belong there.
Yeah.
I won't go back.
I don't think that you're going back. I think they're coming back.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
No, I also hate it. I'm not gonna buy them.
That is not my vibe. Don't make me, you Gen Z? Are they Z?
No. Gen Z is, I don't think Gen Z is low rise. They're like the straight leg.
Okay. Like a boot cut thing. I don't know what.
I don't know who the fuck low rise is. That's probably baby boomers trying to have a good time one
Ew.
last round. And that I do not agree
If you
with.
are a baby boomer, if you are a baby boomer, or a baby boomer, if you're a baby boomer and you have a baby boomer body, which means you're over 50, low-rise jeans are not your friend.
We have turned this podcast into just advice overall.
This is our advice corner where we tell you how to not fuck your life up. You're welcome.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay.
Love it.
I think
Okay.
that we should get to our story.
Well, guess what?
Hmm.
We're going to keep this femme-focused, as I always want to.
You love it.
And we're going to talk about period products.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where they came from, the effects they have, where they're going, inquiring minds want to know. That's me, and that's you.
I always want to know.
And hopefully, y'all listening.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris Bobel, an associate professor of women's studies at the University of Massachusetts in Boston, and the president of the Society for Menstrual Research, said in a phone interview, "We have a very uncomfortable relationship with women's bodies, and we see menstruation as a problem that needs to be hidden or fixed."
Yep.
She's also written the book, New Blood, Third Wave Feminism and the Politics of Menstruation, and I feel like that is exactly what I think about when I think about how society views
Vergers.
periods and the vergers, and then and I was just like really struck by that quote. Like, yeah, that's absolutely correct. So I'm interested in a couple things, like period products over the ages. You know, there's some weird shit there.
Mm-hmm.
The development of period products, like how they progressed, and then like anything we should be worried about.
Yep.
Because of course, you know, there's gonna be some shit to worry about, and there is.
It's bad.
So
It's bad.
let's stop right here without going literally anywhere.
Okay.
For most of history, well, really all of it, menstruation has been viewed as like gross and associated with stigma. People thought it was like unhygienic, even though it was happening every month. Make it make sense. So it was like socially I know, I love that. Socially unacceptable to discuss it. So products were therefore shushed.
Mm-hmm.
Just as an example, before 1985, the word period was not mentioned on TV.
What?
Even though the first product hit the market in 1896.
That's crazy.
Before 1985, they did not say the word period.
That's trash.
Isn't that weird?
Yes. Can I be honest? Like, you're part of the problem, whoever you are. FCC? Who controls that? Whoever. Keep going.
What are you saying? Oh, the TV people. Yeah, fuck them.
The TV people. Yeah, fuck those TV people.
Yeah. Young girls, like, hid their tampons when they went to the bathroom. Like, not even young girls. Like, women who are professionals will, like, slide their tampons in their sleeve or, like, take their purse with them.
Still do that shit.
Right. People who have periods do this because it's, like, considered an embarrassment, not something that you, like, have out and on display. And it's like super trash that feeling is out there. And we all have that one story where we were going to the restroom and the tampon or pad falls on the floor, or we start our periods without knowing it and someone had to tell you, right? Like, we all have that.
Yeah, 100%. I remember this story in middle school where this one girl, I won't say her name.
Because I know her.
You know her. She was going to the bathroom. And she had this little bag with her. First of all, everybody knows what it means when you take your bag with you to the bathroom if you're in, like, middle school. They're like, she's on her period. Which, like, whatever. Yeah, fuck
I don't
you guys.
understand. I never understood that, like, ooh, she's on her period. What the? Are we just stating facts? Like, you haven't hit
Like, that's
puberty.
correct.
Like, your balls haven't dropped. I don't understand what the fuck what are we saying here?
I literally, one time, this guy was like, you're on your period, aren't you? And I was like, what are you, tracking my menstrual cycle? Are you my gynecologist? Fuck off.
What a freak.
Also, so, okay, back to the story. This girl is walking to the bathroom.
Bag girl.
With her little bag, like a little pencil bag looking kind of situation. And it had, like, flowers on it.
Because I take my pencils to the bathroom
Correct.
all the time.
Gotta write on some stalls. So.
Gotta fucking spread a message.
Gotta tag a phone number in the bathroom. No, so she's like walking to the bathroom and she drops that bag and tampons explode everywhere.
Yeah.
And I remember everyone like socially distancing themselves from her instantly, like, no bitch, I do not know her.
Those are not my products.
I don't like that shit.
No.
Now that I'm in my late 20s, I will straight up tell my coworkers, I'm like, I'm on my period, I'm taking an Advil, and I'm sitting at my desk with a heating pad on my uterus, and when you have one, you can talk to me about
actually
it.
Don't also talk to me. Because, like, periods are so different, right, from, like, for everyone. Like, I remember one time, I don't remember what fucking sport it was. It was probably soccer when we had that male soccer coach who was trash. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I know who he is.
And I had really bad periods. I would, like, faint. I would, like, have to be going home. I was, like, in the bed. Like, I couldn't. I had, like, pain medicine that I would take monthly for my periods.
Yep.
And I was, like, I wasn't the kind of gal who had, like, a light, cute flow.
Like a dainty period.
I was, like, super jumbo plus. Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on.
Super jumbo plus.
It was not a good time. And I needed to change my tampon. I was like, listen, it's about to be a situation. Like, I could go do this now, or you can handle the situation.
Yep.
And he was like, I was like, I really need to go to the restroom. I need to go inside. And he was like, why? We're in practice. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm bleeding out right now. I'm gonna die, and then you are at fault. And he was like, okay, go ahead.
That's the thing is...
Yes. Well, I'm like, if a woman is telling you, like, hey, I need to go to the restroom, BRB, during a practice, like, there's, hello, ding, 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 a reason.
First of all, back off, sir.
I was like, I'm bleeding.
So...
And there was this awkward pause where I was wanting him to ask me, where? And he was, like, looking at me, like, trying to decide, like, do I?
No.
Do I ask?
Not.
Do I dare? I'm scared.
Probably
and I was
not,
like,
though,
do
right?
it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it.
You
But
won't.
he didn't do it.
Also, if a man has ever, like, forced you to say, I'm on my period... Do you know what I mean? By like asking you like, where are you going? Why do you need that? What's this thing? I'm like, A of all,
Yeah.
back off. Like, let me deal with my shit and you mind your own business. But if they force you to say it, then they get super awkward about it. And I'm like,
now you are in
Yeah.
trouble. You should be shamed because you made them feel shame. No, you should be shamed for
You
the
should be
shame that
shamed.
you feel.
Let's reverse
You
the
are
shame.
shamed.
Put those tables down, flip them, and reverse them.
And reverse them. Yep, correct.
Okay.
Let's back it up a bit and touch on some of the ways in which women were geniuses in their own time and space. Like, first, according to the Museum of Menstruation, which a name if I ever heard one,
A bop.
women weren't having as many periods in the past, like in the, a billion years ago. Not really, but, because they were like having children.
Yeah.
From ages like 13 to 51, roughly.
Gross.
So it wasn't like I know. Pause. Ew. So it wasn't like a monthly issue, but more of like a novelty experience. So it wasn't period products weren't like necessary in the marketplace. Plus it was like a puritanical society in most places. So
correct.
Shara Vostral is a professor of history at Purdue University and an author of Under Wraps, a history of menstrual hygiene technology, said in an interview, if you're pregnant multiple times, you're not having your period, and you're lactating multiple times, you're not like usually having your period either. So if you have 5 or 6 kids, that's like 10 years of your menstrual life that you don't have to really experience.
That's a really good point, and I've never thought about that.
Isn't that terrifying, though?
And everybody had like 9 children, so they were pregnant for like 18 years, basically.
Can you, first of all...
Can I? No.
I know.
I would never.
9? Nope.
I have never heard of her. I mean, I have, because she is my grandma.
I was about to say, yes, you know her well.
My mom is one of 9 kids, and when I think about that number, I think, how, why, who dares?
Where? Who dares?
Yes.
Who
go
goes
on.
there? So these are some examples of like women being technological geniuses. Like women in Egypt used softened papyrus as tampons. And you thought the pyramids were cool. Psych. They were making tampons out of papyrus.
Love
Women
that.
in ancient Greece and Rome wrapped lint around wood and used that as a tampon.
Ah, around wood?
Yes.
Splinters in your veg.
Imagine.
Cannot.
Japanese women turned to paper, of course, like just like scrolls, and they would like figure it out, stuff it up there. We've all been there. We've all had that
Everyone
moment in the
has.
bathroom where we're like, how much toilet paper can I use?
Without
Same
it
vibes.
looking like I have a diaper on.
Literally, yes. So, of course, there are women who turn to sea sponges as well to absorb their blood. And I
Brilliant.
think that I mentioned those as like in the birth control segment because they would like douse them in like certain chemicals or and certain like other materials. But they would just use sea sponges inserted into your vag, which salt water.
But also, that sounds like some white people shit that would happen now. Like, use this natural sea sponge for your menstrual
Supposedly,
flow.
they still use
I bet
them.
they do. It's kind of maybe it's a good idea, or maybe I'm a hippie. I can't tell.
You're a hippie.
Go on.
Ancient Romans also thought that menstruating women were dark witches that could stop hailstorms and whirlwinds and lightning and kill the crops. So, like, when you were menstruating, they were like, oh, shit. Watch your back.
That's my dream, but hasn't happened yet.
Right, correct. Native American women made products out of moss and buffalo skin. And, like, not 100% what that would be like. I'm sure it's like a pad, right? No, I don't think they would insert buffalo skin, but like, you know, do you?
Doesn't seem super absorbent, but go off.
In Mayan mythology, menstruation was believed to have originated as a punishment after the moon goddess, who represented women and sexuality and fertility. So this moon goddess disobeyed the rules of alliance, and she slept with the sun god, as you sometimes do. And her menstrual blood, because of that, was believed to have been stored in 13 jars. And where in these jars, it was like magically transformed into snakes, insects, poison, and diseases.
God damn it.
Interestingly, in some cases, the ancient Mayans believed the blood could turn into like medicinal plants too. So that's like really cool. But like, basically, what happened is, I don't know. This is my question always when it comes to like these kinds of beliefs. I'm like, who was sitting there and they were like, you know what menstruation's like? It's like when the moon goddess has sex with the sun god, and then the blood is put into, follow me, jars.
Follow me.
And each of the, I don't know who follow, and I'm like, whoa, we just went, it's like when you're playing Candyland, and then you turn back, and you're like playing Monopoly, and you're like, wait, what the fuck are we, what are we talking about?
I'm sorry, what? There's a thimble on the board now?
I'm confused.
Also, people always be blaming women for shit. Y'all are responsible for all the diseases. And I'm sorry, that's my mistake. You're right. I personally am responsible for that shit.
I wish I had the power to be responsible for that much shit, but I don't.
I'm sorry. Magic witches, hailstorms, love it. Give me that. I wish I was responsible for the shit that you're blaming me for.
But that's what they believe, so that's kind of cool.
Everyone always does that. Like Christians
now
too,
we're about
right?
To get to the grocery.
They say that, like,
1,000%.
They say that like Eve is responsible for whatever bad shit. You know, they're always blaming shit on women.
God made Eve to be, you know, a whatever companion to Adam, and then she was unpleased, so then she ate the apple, and then she was like, oh my God, I'm naked, and everyone was like, bitch, you been naked, and then she was like, Adam, you need to eat this shit too, because you need to see that you naked, and then he didn't, it's all Eve's fault, and so she's punished. You know what? The rest of that, Eve is punished. That's why we're supposedly have pain with childbirth, right? And like cramps is because she's being punished.
Right.
So fuck you, Eve. I'm just kidding.
Or fuck you, patriarchy, for blaming that.
Absolutely fuck
I'm sorry,
the patriarchy.
did you choose to eat that apple or nah? Was it a two-way street? It takes two to tango, bitch.
Also, who planted that tree? Eve wasn't there long enough to plant that. That sounds like some Adam shit to me.
That predated Eve.
That wasn't Eve.
That's pre-Eve tree.
That's a pre-Eve tree. We are getting so far into the weeds. I love it. I live for it. Okay.
Me too. Go.
In the 1800s in America, they also used homemade menstrual cloths made out of woven fabric, like the rags. So, like, allegedly, like, being on the rag came from these woven, handmade menstrual cloths.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. So, cotton was preferred as it absorbs things. So, hello. Wool does not absorb, but was sometimes used. So imagine that. Imagine that scratchy situation.
On your vagine.
Ew.
No, thank you.
And medieval women got creative as well. So, like, panties weren't super popular. I love saying that because I know you don't.
Ugh, I hate the word panties.
Panties.
I've probably been socially conditioned to hate panties.
Yeah, you probably have.
Gross.
Panty words.
Panty words. There's just really the one panty word.
Okay, self. Medieval women, like, got creative. So they didn't have, like, panties. So that's interesting. So what they would do is they would wind cotton fabric to create a garment for themselves. Like, they didn't have really the vision of, like, a pair of panties, but they were, like, really creating that, like, in the medieval times.
Was it thick like a diaper?
Well, I couldn't really see pictures of that. I'm imagining it was just, like, kind of twisted and, like, tied.
Yeah.
So this is also interesting. In medieval times, they would use, like, bog moss, which was a plant that consists of, like, stems that are tightly arranged clusters of branch, like, whatever. So it's like a specific type of moss, right? We know what moss is. I don't know why I felt the need to explain that to everyone. So they would, like, put that in, like, those panties that they created because they realized when they would put it on the wounds in soldiers that were bleeding that it would, like, absorb the blood. And so women that were, like, treating them or exposed to that, they were like, that is a fucking, I'm stealing that shit. So they started doing that.
That's a bop.
So they would, like, stuff menstrual pads. They would, like, basically create menstrual pads and stuff them like we do in an emergency with toilet paper, as we said before. # all natural. Organic.
Everybody's been there.
Either way, though, in the medieval times, I just really like saying medieval times, like leakage.
Medieval.
I don't know why. Leaking and stains were, like, a worry. Like, even back then, we are worried, right? We are always worried, like, oh, fuck, can't wear white. Well, yes, you can. Who cares if you're bleeding? Like, that's just what, you know, whatever. So at least that's consistent. The color red is so popular in those ages because of that. Like, some women would just, like, free bleed and, like, wear red and be like, you bitches don't even know what the fuck is going on.
No one can tell.
Literally. Yeah. Have you ever free bled before?
sure have on accident.
Where you're just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. No, intentionally. Have you
I
ever?
have, but only because I'm lazy as fuck.
So I do not want to scare off the 3 listeners that we have, but I have some like awful experiences with bleeding where maybe it might feel and look as though an organ has fallen out of my body.
Yeah.
So when I free bleed, I'm like at the end, I'm like near death's door.
Yeah.
Like I can't sit up. I'm just like, I don't care anymore. And I'll put a towel down. I'm like, just take me, whatever. Because like things are happening and I don't like it. So I have definitely done that.
Same. I've also done it unintentionally, like on my graduation for my undergrad graduation. I wore like that cute white dress, like that fitted white dress, and I walked across the stage and they said my name and I took my little scroll and then I went roop, and you know that feeling where you can feel like the drop and you're like,
yeah,
I'm just started my period. That happened to me as I was walking across the stage.
I remember. Yeah.
Love that for me.
Here
Had
for
to
a
walk
good time.
from the stage to the bathroom and I had no products, so I made a toilet paper diaper, because you do.
You do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you like walked out. We were like, where's she going?
Bye-bye.
Oh my God.
I said, my part is over.
Literally. So there's also this like recipe of burnt toad during the medieval times, in which a woman would wear the ashes of a toad near their vagina in like a little pouch.
Mm-hmm.
Like supposedly that would make the period pains easier. Okay.
Okay.
Greg Jenner, a British public historian, wrote in his blog, in medieval Europe, they carried nosegays of these sweet-smelling herbs around their necks and waists, hoping it would neutralize the odor of blood as well. So they might try and, like, stem a heavy flow with medicines like powdered toad. They would literally, like, ingest powdered toad or, like, carry it with them.
Huh.
However, pain relief was not like actually permitted by the church. So God apparently wanted each cramp to be a reminder of Eve's original sin, as we talked about. So the church like shamed menstruation because it was like, one, you're not supposed to take pain reliever. You're supposed to live through your pain, you know, penance and like whatever.
Okay.
Just a fucking... That's just a toxic work environment. And they also thought it like period blood contained toxins and like excesses and like basically like evil. So
Like,
it was
get it
like
out.
a huge like, yeah, you're not supposed to talk about it, not supposed to touch it.
Okay, there's this documentary in 2018 that was called Period End of Sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about like it was about modern rural India and their beliefs about like women's periods. And so they would go around and they would ask these men, like, what do you know about periods? And they would all be like, you know, like laughing, like it's funny.
As we do. Mm-hmm.
This guy would be like, oh, I know it's a sickness. And it's like, first of all, I didn't catch periods. Like, that wasn't a choice. That wasn't like a lifestyle choice that I made.
Imagine if you could avoid that bitch.
I would avoid it like I avoided COVID.
I
would
that.
swerve my period.
I would get that fucking shot.
I would get
real
a period vaccine tomorrow. I kind of already do with birth control, but
1,000%. Some people experiencing like a menstrual cycle spend their cycle culturally in these like huts, despite it like is like, for example, banned as a practice in Nepal. Like many women are still sent to like tiny mud walled huts like called goths today. Like they still experience that.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? Crazy.
There was one girl who got sent in there and she, you know, some people bleed for like a whole week.
Yo, it's me.
And she died because it was so hot in there. And they're like, you got to stay in there. I'd be like, sorry, I'm breaking out.
I'm coming
You could
out.
disown me if you want. It's trash.
Bebop down to the 1850s where there were like aprons. Now listen. Listen. That people would wear that were pieces of rubber over your butt between your bloomers and your skirt so that you had like a barrier, and they were apparently like heavy and stinky and like not comfortable.
Oh my God.
Rubber butt bloomers. I don't know.
And you're wearing like 57 layers of dress and shit and a corset. Bitch, wear.
Bitch wear is
That could
exactly
not be
correct.
me.
Correct.
I'd be like the town outcast because I would not have done that shit.
No, I agree. So, like, people at this time are starting to get worried about, like, bacteria because people weren't cleaning things in the best way that they could ew. And in 1879, this German doctor wrote about how gross it was that women bleed into and were in the same, like, chesme. It's like a little undergarment. For like 4 to 8 days, since that could cause infection. He was like, that shit is fucking gross, dude. And the women are like,
y'all nasty.
what shit? We don't bleed. Society told us not to. Around that same time, there was this report in a British medical journal that described a tampon-like device, so it was not confirmed to be used for periods.
What was it confirmed for?
They used them for like other like plugging wounds and stuff. They basically been using like tampons, not periods. They wouldn't plug a wound with a period. That would be fucking nuts.
That would be crazy.
Why did I say that?
Woof.
So during this time, Western women sometimes wore this thing called the hosier sanitary belt.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to that other rubber bitch that I talked about before. Before the 20th century, women I cannot speak. Women mostly pinned rags of homemade pads into their clothes. So there was like safety pinning, like creating a diaper.
Yeah.
And the belts had these like loops of elastic with thick cotton pads to clip or pin on.
Okay.
And during this time, women could purchase, of course, they have to fucking purchase shit, washable pads that could be attached to the belt. So it had like, basically it was like suspender kind of like things.
Uh-huh.
And, like, it would loop around, and then you would just, like, attach your pad into it, and you'd have to wash it.
Makes sense. Okay.
And then, bam!
Love that.
It's exciting. Enter 1888. The first commercially available disposable menstrual pads, called Lister's towels, were put out, and they were produced by Johnson & Johnson.
What's up?
Shout out to them.
Go off, J&J.
Originally, they were actually these like disposable pads were part of a maternity kit women got like when they were like having children or had children. But then they were like, that's a good idea for periods. I don't know who figured that out, but J&J did. And this product was disposable, and that was like the game changer because there weren't like washing machines like we think about having now. So they would have to like first of all, I want you to imagine for a second having to wash by hand your pad and reuse it.
First of all, I have done exactly that thing because I use a menstrual cup now because I'm a moon goddess, A of all. And so now I wash and reuse it all the time. And it is very gross, but I'm fine with it. I'm here living my best life.
Well, we can talk about that later. But that is disgusting. In my opinion.
I love it.
I know. Moon goddess.
I've told you about it several times.
I cannot. So they would like have to hand wash and wring out their sanitation products, and that's like not a great time. Maybe the menstrual cup you can like dump and like you have to wash it, but I just can't imagine like pulling my washcloth. That's what I imagine this to look like.
Basically.
Out of my vagina with like basically what looks like a murder scene.
Murder.
And like hand washing it without like the best soaps and the best, and no.
Yeah.
So, like, this suspenders thing is connected to this towel. There were some of them that were, like, little bags, Sydney, that would catch period blood. Like, little bags. So, like, they hooked over your shoulders, and they were, like, attached to, like, a little...
Over your shoulders?
That's the suspenders would go all the way up to your shoulders, and they would have, like, a little belt, and then it would come right under your vagina and catch blood in a little bag. I saw a picture of this. There was a little bag.
Fan. If I had to wear suspenders, I'd be like, fuck it, I'm bleeding everywhere. Right. Y'all better cover this shit with plastic.
Wear red. They're like, that bitch has her period every day because that bitch wears red. Correct.
All the time.
But being disposable was like amazing because women could
game changer.
Do it, throw it, be at work, throw it away, whatever, right? But being disposable made them expensive.
Sure.
And there were families that literally, like, there are documents where they're having to decide whether they buy these or bread for their families. Because, like, it was, right, it's expensive. And we know this. Period products are expensive.
They always have been. The pink tax.
The pink tax. The bitch. So then, in World War I, there were these French nurses, and they were, like, on the battlefield. And they were, like, being fucking nurses, fucking saving the day.
Bad bitches.
And they saw these, like, I can't read words. Bandages that absorbed blood better than cotton. And they were like, better taking this home today.
Like
And
every nurse I know, stash some product.
Boop. So they realized that was like even more absorbent, would be better for periods. They were like, this is the shit.
Mm-hmm.
So then, boom, brands of disposable pads using that material instead of cotton started appearing.
Mm-hmm.
In 1920, which is also the year that white women got the right to vote, not all the women, so don't get it twisted.
What's up?
Kotex sold their first pad made from that material. They're like the French nurse ideas. Don't get it, not the other types of French nurses.
That's made.
Oh, that's French made, right? I'm not cute. I don't know shit.
They're slutty nurses.
I'm not a good time, obviously.
And they're French maids. I don't think.
I mean, I guess there are French nurses.
Be both.
No judgment. But Kotex, cool. So they women got access to these products. However, you think that they were expensive? You'd be correct. They were like marketed to wealthy white women who could go to department stores and like spend money to purchase these. So despite this elitist bullshit, the products came with instructions for the first time. So like, we give and take. For the first time on products, like there was like literally just like paragraphs of information, how to use them, what they were for, how to dispose of them. And that kind of like start of over information regarding these products was a big deal because as we know, people don't talk about sex with their kids. People definitely don't talk about periods with their kids.
Still now.
Now. So imagine back then, it was people like I have, heard stories of kids, like young girls or people who have periods and like they have their period and they're like, I'm dying. Like I'm bleeding.
Correct.
I'm going to
Same.
die,
I mean, I knew what it was, but like we had never talked about it. And I was going with like a group of people to a water park when I was like 14 and I got my period and I was like, how do I use a tampon? I need to know right now. So I read that little package in the pamphlet, that comes in the tampon box.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, this diagram is helpful and this is how I use it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Everybody
I think it
needs
was
those.
like that. This was the start of it. Kotex. So good job. Lots
Great
of
work.
good descriptions for women. So that's awesome.
And also, like if you're a kid and you don't know how to use it, like that's where toxic shock syndrome and shit like that comes from because nobody tells you.
Correct.
Yep.
More information is better. That's why we're here.
100%.
In 1929, Dr. Earl Haas developed a plug of cotton inserted using 2 cardboard tubes with a string extended. Haas got the idea from learning that his friend actually used a sponge tucked into the vagina to absorb blood. So he patented his device. His friend obviously did not TM. Patented his device and trademarked Tampax. By the way, at the time, purchasing feminine products, women had to put money into a box at the store. They couldn't buy them in front of the salesperson. They had to go to the secret tampon feminine box, the pad box, put their money in, hide their secret products, and like scoot on out of there. Isn't that crazy?
51% of the population did that shit forever.
Correct. So you were talking about your menstrual cup, and that's kind of cool. In the 1930s, they actually made a menstrual cup.
No way.
Like you thought the Diva cup was the original? Nope. This woman named Leona Chalmers developed that and created an ad. And they didn't do super well because people then, and like now really like just what we were talking about, do not want to touch this bloody cup and like do well with it, like hold it.
Yeah.
Like, but the original ones were made from things like aluminum. Like, what the fuck? I literally knew that already, and I still got it, like, very nervous.
Tinfoil in your vagina. Not me. Could not be me.
Machine. Couldn't be me. Don't want it to be me. Never heard
Nope.
of her. So, this is what you alluded to before. Did you know that tampons were used in medical practices? Of course you did, because I already told you. They were used to stop bleeding, like, in deep wounds. They would, like, so say you got, like, shot, right? I don't know why you'd be shot, but,
yeah.
Shit gets crazy. And they would be like, oh, we need to plug this hole. They would, like, stick, like, a tampon, basically, into the hole.
I did not know that.
And they would introduce medicines all the way into the start of the wound, like, at the base, using tampons, basically. They weren't calling them
like,
that.
sticking them into the wound.
Yes, and they would, like, plug them full of cotton.
Cool.
That's fucking a tampon. So
Yeah.
literally they'd use them also in that same way for contraception medication as well. So that's why I'm like, why the fuck didn't y'all figure that shit out? You're like plugging this, you're like, wow, something else bleeds all the time.
Wonder if I could do the same thing.
The thing about tampons is that people thought that even into the 50s, that if they used a tampon, they were no longer a virgin, right? They would break the hymen and cause them to not be virgins. And of course, that's all we care about, that women stay virgins and be like perfect and like angelic and like never experience sexual pleasure. But anyway, so virginity was like more important socially than women having access to products they really need. And that...
Hate that.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's literally all that fucking matters.
Literally.
So 1969, there's finally like the maxi pads. So all of the other pads like were not super, absorbent. They didn't... I am a person, as I have said on this podcast, people are like, okay, we understand you have horrible periods. If I put a regular pad, I'll literally swim. Just let that resonate. Let that sink into your soul. Into
Moment
your
of
eyelids.
silence for that
I would
maxi pad.
So the maxi pad's like a huge deal. So Stay Free is the company who like came out with the maxi pads with adhesive strips on the bottom.
Yeah, smart.
Like that was the ticket too. So it's like a sticky pad. So now shit is like staying in place. Of course, there's still leakage, whatever. But this put an end to like menstrual belts. So sayonara to the suspenders with the cup. We're not doing that shit anymore.
We don't like it.
Now we have sticky pads.
We hate it there. Not going back.
And they were disposable. And that was like a big thing. Like people don't want to hold. I mean, I know you're like, a moon goddess, whatever. That ain't me. It can never be me. Like, not for me.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. But I also grew up on a farm, so...
I don't know what that means.
Like, I've seen a lot.
That's so fucking ominous.
Seen a cow give birth. Like, what do I care about holding my own period blood,
Okay, we can talk about this offline. I'm also interested in all the cow births that we've seen.
Okay, I'll tell you about a few.
I'm not actually interested. I will throw up.
I know. I know you're out.
In 1975, Relay, that's the word, Relay tampons go to market. And they were made out of polyester on the outside with a polyester foam cube situation on the inside. And this stuff is called like why do I do this? Someone told me actually that listens to the podcast. They were like, my favorite part of the podcast is you try. Oh, I shouldn't mock them. I think it was Grant, who we love.
An angel.
Is when you try and pronounce words, and I was like, yeah, no, that's my favorite part too, because it's literally a wild ride. Every time I'm like, how am I gonna say?
I'm
wood?
like, I'm
Who
looking
knows?
at the copy in front of me, and I'm like, this one's gonna be rough.
Yeah, it's carboxymethyl. Wait, is that right?
What's up, girl? Yeah.
Cellulose, damn it, fucked it up. Which is like a thickening agent. So these are like super absorbent. But these acted as basic.
Is that like the stuff in a diaper?
Well, I think so. They're like mega
I think you're right.
absorbent. But these acted as basically a petri dish.
Grody.
Let's just pause for a minute. If a diaper is super absorbent, it's absorbing away, right, from
Correct.
the skin. Like, of course, you don't leave your child in, like, a dirty diaper. Like, hello, that's the whole point. You, like, change them often.
Right.
But let's think about your vagina. I'm about to get real graphic.
Do it.
This is the time when they get graphic in the podcast. So you insert this tampon. It's, like, mega absorbent.
Yeah.
Not only is it absorbing, like, blood, but also, like, your natural, like, things that you need to be moist, right? Because moisture is like, it's like part of having a vagina. If you didn't know, if you have a really dry vagina, or you need to call someone, because that is not a good time.
Also, if you haven't listened to it and you want to see something super fucking cringy, so Cardi B did the WAP video.
Love.
And Ben Shapiro, who is that crazy conservative guy, did a video of him like being mad about WAP. And it is the funniest, cringiest thing that I have ever seen in my entire life. If you have not seen it, it is a wild ride of just the most terrible things you can hear.
I hate him.
Yes, he's the fucking worst. If this ever gets back to him, tell him come fight me, because I'm down.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, Ben.
We hate you. Why is this like weird shaming thing going on with like, you should have discharge, that's completely normal?
back to the graphics. So it's like
Yeah.
a petri dish because it's women got. So basically, it's like holding all this stuff, and it's like moist, and it's like warm, and it's like a growing place, like
Yeah.
for
It's like a perfect
bacteria.
place for bacteria.
So women got staph inside their vaginas, and that's
Oof.
when they were vulnerable to like toxic shock syndrome.
Yeah.
So FYI, it wasn't the tampons actually causing TSS, but the bacteria that was like growing because of what was in the tampons that caused it.
Okay.
So like
okay.
these actual tampons were recalled because the product was fine, like it worked and it didn't cause it, but when it reacted and held in like the moisture in the blood, that's when bacteria was growing.
Yeah.
So FYI, like TSS is like sort of rare, but like it still happens. That they recommend you change your tampon like 4 to 8 hours. 8 is like a long time.
Yeah.
That's like overnight, right? And they actually recommend you wear a pad overnight instead of a tampon.
Oh, that's good to know.
And the symptoms, it's just like better. You're also supposed to like change your tampons, like the brand that you use.
Oh.
And you're supposed to change, like you're not supposed to use tampons on like light days. You're supposed to use like a pad.
Yeah.
That's like how you can avoid this happening. And the symptoms of TSS can look like a sudden high fever or low blood pressure, you're vomiting, diarrhea, rash like a sunburn, confusion, muscle aches, redness in your eyes, mouth, throat. I never understand when they say redness in the throat. Like, if your throat isn't red, what color the fuck is it every day? Pink?
What is
I don't
it supposed to
understand.
be?
Yeah. Seizures and headaches. So, like, that's it. Mayday, right? If you are experiencing that, like, and that's not a part of. If you're like, what the fuck is going on with me? Go to the doctor because, like, you need to
go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can treat it, but it's, like, obviously better if it's treated early. Antibiotics, fluids, things like that. Yeah.
So manufacturers of tampons are not allowed to use materials or designs that were associated with and are associated with TSS. Like, you should read the labels on your I learned this. You should read the labels and use the lowest absorbency tampon you can because that's less chemicals.
Okay.
So you have to change the brands, like I said, frequently, and TSS can occur. You can get TSS, go get treated, whatever, and reoccur.
Oh, wow.
So you don't get like TSS one time.
Yeah.
That's like any staph. You can get staph, like it's just like a staph infection. But I think because it's like internal, like in such a like a perfect space to grow and like develop itself. It's like really like you need to get it out, like be careful.
Yeah.
So I was reminded in this research, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I don't want to get up or whatever. Bitch, get up.
Yeah. Don't get TSS.
Get the fuck
don't
up.
do it.
Don't. This is when like menstrual cups came back into action in 2003, and so they're popular now. Sydney's like an advocate of menstrual
Love
cups, like an influencer. Like,
get you a menstrual cup.
Right. She also was a consumer of the free bleeding panties, like the panties that you could bleed into. Thinks, yeah. Like, Sydney, do you have stories for us about your experience with that?
I do. I liked them, but if you're gonna get them, they say that like after so they say that they can absorb up to like 8 hours of blood, right? And you have to be careful to really follow the instructions and rinse them, because if you don't, they start to smell crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So if you get those, follow the instructions. Otherwise, someone will tell you that you smell like copper or iron.
Which, I mean, also, if you want to smell that way, do it, girl.
I was like, I'm the fucking bionic woman. Back off.
Right. Mind your business.
That's what I said.
So we know that, like, society causes women to spend more money on products like that. Like the razor. If you go down the aisles where there's, like, a possible gendered consumer product, it's, like, ridiculous. Like, razors, deodorant. Like, it is dumb. So
even those
the tampon taxes
the free bleeding panties are like $38 each. They're expensive as hell.
Exactly. It's expensive to be a hippie.
Yep.
So this brings me to like the tampon tax. So there's no specific U.S. tampon tax focused on feminine products, but there is not an exemption necessarily for these products. So products have to have like they have exposure to like sales tax.
Yeah.
This can be anywhere from like 6.25% to like 10.25% or more, depending. Like some states, cities, municipalities have different kind of taxing policies. So it just depends. So how much do you think consumers spend on tampons or feminine products as a whole in America every year?
$10 million. Billion.
$3 billion. Over $3 billion.
$3 billion? That's crazy.
Yes. And women have, and we already know, like you just said, those things, whatever, are $38. Women have constantly had issues paying for products during their periods. Like thinking about women without access to period products in like prison systems, or like even schools, like they will have a limited supply. Now, not all prisons, whatever. So yes, all prisons. So it's just like access to these products stems and flows based on your accessibility to money. That's just it, point blank, period.
It's not cool. Yeah.
It's not. And products keep evolving, and now we have things that are more expensive, like the Thinks, or like organic, or
yeah, I buy
like
those organic cotton tampons too.
Yes,
non-bleached.
but they're more money.
They are, yeah.
Yes. It's so weird. It's like the same thing with food. Like fast food is cheaper than good for you food. Like,
correct.
Make it make sense?
Yeah.
But that being said, they have like now our period products, the evolution has landed us at this thing called a menstrual disc. Like, have you ever heard of this?
Heard of it, used it, loved it.
Really?
Yes.
I do not think I like it.
The last menstrual cup that I bought came with a trial pack of 3 menstrual discs.
And you liked it?
It's interesting. I don't hate it.
So they're like, for those of you who don't know, because I'd never heard of them because I am a basic bitch, they're this product that's a little interesting. They're disposable, and they collect your blood instead of absorbing it. So kind of similar to the cup. They're made from medical grade polymer that heats up inside your body and actually molds to your individual shape. It's like the Spanx for your vagina.
Yep. You put it in exactly like a Nuva ring, where you basically just, fold it into like a little C shape, and you put it in, and then it collects the blood, and you hook it with your finger and take it out.
And it just drops in there.
And you throw it away. Yeah. And the menstrual cups are made of, like the ones that I use are made of like surgical grade silicone. And so when you're done, when you're done, you wash them with soap and water, and then you can also like boil them to kill bacteria.
Yeah.
If you're you should be worried about that. You
if
should
you're
be, like,
worried
boiling
about
products, but
bacteria.
I said it that I was like, be worried. If you're not worried, be worried.
As you are. And that's period products.
That's so interesting. I did not know any of that.
That's not true. You knew a lot of it because you was smart.
I did not know a lot of it.
It's just a crazy ride. But I'm glad we're having access. And I think more and more companies come out where like you buy a box of tampons and a box of tampons the same kind of and quality go to like someone who can't afford them, right? There's all of these new initiatives to like give access to like the better products to like all women. And I think that's cool.
It's so important. Because the documentary that I watched in 2018, part of it was about the fact that women were not allowed to go to school in certain cultures. They're not allowed to go to school when they're on their periods. Yep. And so women end up missing a lot of school and losing out on education because they're not allowed to have this like basic biological function while they're in school.
Yep.
If you're in a position to donate, do that. If you're in a position to make period products available for people in your workplace, for whoever you can help out, it helps a lot.
Yeah, or if you're like leading the government, you could just like make them free products. That'd be cool.
Or at least stop fucking taxing them so much. Jesus Lord, let us live.
Free products.
Free products for everyone who bleeds.
I think you should be able to get period products covered by insurance.
I fucking agree with that so much. I have never heard a statement that I agree with more.
Because if you can get your fucking vasectomy or your what's it called? What the fuck is it called?
You're talking about
vasectomy,
dick medicine, are you?
Yeah, dick. What the fuck is that shit called? Dick medicine?
Damn it. For ED,
starts with a V.
I was like Celebrex. I think that's for your like joints. What the fuck is it called?
Not Vicodin. What am I trying
Viagra.
to say? Viagra.
Viagra.
You can get your vasectomy. That's good. But if you can get, I don't disagree. Vasectomies for all.
Get
But
'em.
if you can get fucking your Viagra covered by insurance, and insurance doesn't fucking cover period products, that is some bullshit.
Bullshit. Get your shit together, insurance companies. What are you doing? It's 2021.
It is.
2021 is the year of the period. Let's make this shit normal. A of all, make it normal, make it accessible, make it equal, make it deductible. I want to deduct period products from my taxes.
That's actually another idea. I also support that.
I'll write that shit off.
We should start doing it. The IRS is going to be like, you're idiots. Give me my money. But that's what I know about that, you guys.
You did a great job. I loved learning about that.
Thanks.
Let's spread the word. Periods are cool. Periods are normal. You hate them. I hate them. We all hate them, but just like be cool about it, you know? Check us out on social media if you want to help us grow a little bit. The way to do that is by subscribing, liking, and reviewing. Is that
Like and subscribe.
Write us a review. Stay tuned. Tell your friends.
Boo-doo, boo-doo-doo.